Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome to another Cosmic Trial guide for Marvel Heroes Omega for the PlayStation 4. Now with this particular trial video we will run through it with Daredevil. Now by far he was the hardest hero that I've run through the trial with. This one was really difficult, and personally, I wouldn't normally do this for this video, but personally I would recommend you gear up before doing this trial. If you do want to give it a shot, then this video will hopefully help you. It will show off the skills and talents and the gameplay that I actually use myself to get through it. But as mentioned, this was difficult, this one, as you'll see when we're doing it. But what we'll do for the video anyway is we'll look through the skills and talents first. We'll then do the actual Cosmic Trial run through, and then finishing up I'll show off the gear that I've used in order to pass the trial as well. So first up, let's have a look at these skills and talents. So with this build here, we're actually replacing a spender with rebounding club, and this is great because you throw it and it bounces between the enemies. If there's only two enemies, it will quickly bounce between them, doing a whole lot of damage, and it also works as a dot and provides vulnerability, and we have the two charges there. Now we would follow this up. This is our kind of main two skills we use here. The first one is Jump and Strike, and this is a finisher, and when we use this it then allows us to use the main move of this particular build, which is Tornado Kick. So you have a 100% brutal strike chance, you'll be doing a huge amount of damage. You can only use it after using a finisher move. Now you'll get a radar ping every 4 seconds with this particular setup, so try and use Tornado Kick after the radar ping and it will gain 100% bonus damage as well. Another thing on top of that, when you use Tornado Kick, try and line it up so you've got lots of enemies around you, because it does actually work as an AoE even though it doesn't have that particular tag. We then have Slide and Strike. Now this is an opener move, but what it actually does is it stuns the enemy. That's one of the main reasons we use it. It gets you in amongst them, gets them stunned for 2 seconds, and when they're stunned you follow up with Whirling Club, which will then slow the enemy as well. And then following on from that, we would use Street Sweeper, where we bounce between the enemies, and these have all get 8-second cooldowns because we're not using combo points, we're using the talent that changes your finishers into standard 8-second skills, but we will cover that a bit more in the talent section. Now the final skill we're using is Devil's Due. It's a simple enough one. You leap up, slam down, 3-second knockdown duration on it, which is pretty useful, and it does a nice amount of damage as well. Next up, let's have a look at the talents we would use. The first talent we're using here is a pretty simple one. It's Knockout Punch. Now with this, Jump and Strike gains 25% critical damage. There we go, nice and simple. Talent line 2, we're not actually using anything. Now the reason for that is I scroll through them, you can see they're highlighting Daredevil's main spenders, and we can't use one. The trial is hard enough with Daredevil without actually trying to go toe to toe with the enemies if you're not geared, so we just avoid that. We then have Cycle of Violence, so when you use a finisher power you actually gain 2% max health and 2% stamina per second for 6 seconds. Now another option that on the surface looks to be good would be Ignore Pain, which gives you 1 second invulnerability, and because we have 3 different finishers that we're using often, you would seem that has a high uptime. However, despite using this, I seem to get downed fairly often, so I do actually prefer the health regen. We then have Fighting Rhythm, so Devil's Due, your signature cooldown is reduced by 1 second per combo point spent. Now we're not technically spending combo points, but the cooldown will be reduced when we use finishers. Now finally, on the subject of not using combo points, we have All Out Brawl, so combo points are removed and your finisher powers gain an 8-second cooldown, and as I've already touched on slightly, Radar Ping pings every 4 seconds, so try and use your main kick after the radar pings went off for 100% bonus damage there. But what we'll do, run through the trial. Once that's complete, we'll show off the gear we've used as well.
For my next trick, I'll do that blindfolded. I'm good, but not that good. so many ways to hurt you. Gotta fight through the pain. I am all-powerful. This cannot be. That's for everyone who couldn't fight back. I revel in your agony.
And there we go. So I'm glad that particular one is over, because that really was quite tough there. Now if we bring up the gear we used, we can see it was just the super heroic gear. However, personally, as I've mentioned at the start of the video, I would recommend gearing them up a bit more, because this was really tough. But what we'll do next is we'll do a War Machine Cosmic Trial video, and this one's a whole lot easier thankfully, so I'll see you all again soon.